Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Gillian Berry, and today we have an incredible episode in store for you guys. We actually have an amazing raw vegan pizza recipe, which my beautiful raw vegan friend Skye Conway is going to demonstrate for you guys. Her recipes are next level, 10 out of 10, absolutely incredible. And she has been on the channel before. She actually came on when she was 10 months raw. And she's actually been raw for 1 full year now, and it has literally saved her life. So we're gonna do a quick update on how she's doing and then get right into the recipe. So hey Skye, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Thanks for that beautiful introduction. I love that.
No, you deserve it. It's going great. I'm wonderful. So how are things with you? How is the update? 1 year raw?
Look, Gillian, I can't believe it. Like it's a gift from the gods. It's like I worked hard. I think one of the hardest parts of it is to let go of all you know. I find once committing to the raw and knowing how good you feel is a good feeling. It's all good. It's really letting go of all of those other voices and it's just really enlightened me in many ways. So I'm happy.
Amazing. You seem so happy. And are you ever tempted to go back to the other side, like to go back to the old foods or the old ways?
No, I think what I've discovered from all this, and I knew this all along, I am a very sensitive person. Like I react to everything. And I think even if I have sometimes something like sushi, I'm getting really even more sensitive to just what are raw foods. So something like sushi paper, I can get an upset stomach, and that isn't even really, it's raw sushi paper, nori sheets. So I don't think I could. It doesn't how I was to how I am now. And plus, I get
Yeah.
so excited with raw foods now. Like it's a whole new world.
Yeah, there's so many recipes and you have so many recipes. You have a new recipe book which is incredible. I think you have literally some of the best recipes in the raw food industry.
Thank
And
you. Oh.
your new book has 32 recipes, so I'll definitely link that down below and everybody go grab it. It's amazing. And just for anybody who doesn't know, like how has the raw foods lifestyle, you only eat raw food, you gave up cooked food, how has it changed your life?
Okay, so it has changed my life in so many ways. So I've talked about this before about how from when I was 8, I was chronically sick with many things from viruses to chronic fatigue to a congenital disease to surgeries, losing organs, hormonal problems. In the end, my heart, like tachycardia, I had blood pressure problems. The amount of like chronic diseases I was diagnosed with was so extensive. And as soon as I went on to this, my whole it dropped away very quickly. I mean, some things like so when I first started this, for example, my parents only live 500 meters down the road. To walk to their house, my heart rate, just walk, was 177. Now I exercise now, my heart rate is kind of to get even to 150 is pushing it. So it's like I cannot stress how much like it can help with so many things. So once you've done that, you also get the beautiful hair, the skin, the nails, all like the youth things. But first off, if you have anything, like even if a doctor says to you, you have irritable bowel, it's fine. 1 in 3 people have it. No, it's not fine.
Yeah.
Like anything you have is not like your body is meant to be in homeostasis. It's not meant to be bumps, bruised. Like it's not, that's inflamed. So
Yeah.
it's something that it's changed my life dramatically. Like I feel like I was very, very sick. So
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
And
So
where
it's
were you? Like now you're 1 year raw. So where were you 1 year ago compared to today?
okay. So tomorrow's my 41st birthday. And for my 40th, it felt like a long time I'd been raw, actually. It'd only been a month I'd been raw. And so we were in COVID, and I'm really, really tiny in the photos. I've been looking at the photos. I went to mum and dad's, and I remember having on my 40th, I was proud of it. I got up, had a juice of an immunity shot. And for my birthday, 40th, I had a salad and a juice. But the difference is I was clear-headed, like there's no, alcohol, no groggy, heavy food. My nieces I played with down the beach in the afternoon, like I was still quite tired, but to still have the clarity so quickly. So that's only a month
That was a month
in.
raw. And before
Yeah,
that month, before you started, you weren't in a good place at all.
no, especially by this time. So I'd lost most of my hair. I'd been in mental hospitals. Like my mental health was no good. Had heart problems, chronic fatigue was back. I was just tired all the time, yet couldn't sleep, had post-traumatic stress, was disconnected from family, friends. I couldn't cook, couldn't look after myself. I had carers still. And it really, like, what I've said to people is when I started this and did things like even going shopping for the first time, because you got to remember I lived at home and I was sick, is even though I'd come home and I'd kind of freeze or cry and couldn't finish what I was doing, I would stay there and maybe take me an hour to even, I get stuck. I'd still count the wins because I'd get the groceries away. Even if it was that all I would do in a day, I did it. So there's like
Mm-hmm.
there's a completely different now. We're talking about a girl who tries to exercise twice a day, working on my website, written an ebook, talks to people to help them with raw foods, has friends, family, swims in the ocean in the middle of winter here. So there's not many people who do this.
No.
Compared to a girl who was crying to put groceries away, but was still proud and happy when I did it. So as bad as it was, when I shifted into this, something came over me, and it's a huge aspect of self-love. Just count, no matter where you are in life, if you feel and know you've moved forward on your journey, be proud, own that, because you would take that mindset with you. Like, it's still with me now. So even if I swim an extra 200 meters in the water or 100 meters, I'm still proud as I was when I get the groceries away. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's important with this lifestyle. Like, it's,
Mm-hmm.
I found the lifestyle really.
Yeah. So would you say you feel happier now and have more energy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely. Like, and there's also, I don't know what you're like, Gillian, but my mood is so good. Like, we actually aren't meant to feel all of these moods all over the place. Like, my mood is very stable. I will have emotions, but it's almost like I get to deal with that now, process it, and I become a bigger, greater person for dealing with it. Whereas before it
Yeah.
was, you always kind of externalize things, I found. And now that's, it's back to more grounded. So there is just, as you know, so many benefits with this diet. Not just, you don't want to wait till you get sick. Like,
Yeah.
you have like your dreams basically. So my energy levels, yeah, exercise twice if I can fit in 3 times a day. I just love movement, being around people. I'm happy most of the time.
Yeah. It's been like I labeled the other video the biggest transformation I've ever seen in raw foods because it is with you. And I've interviewed so many people and I've been raw for 6 years now almost. And it's literally the biggest transformation I've ever seen. And we go, Skye and I, in case you guys didn't see anybody watching, we went into detail about everything in the last video. So I'll definitely link that down below. Go check it out. It's such a good video. And I'm just so proud of you, so happy for you. And you've become a great friend of mine. I truly love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to do the recipe and talk a bit more about food. So you are quite the raw food chef. And before we get into the recipe, I'm just wondering, what are you currently eating in a day right now? And has that changed now that you're 1 year raw versus how it was in the beginning?
Yeah, so we spoke a bit, and I know a lot of people reached out to me about the avocado thing. So because I was having, so guys, I was like, gosh, under 40 kilograms probably, or maybe just over at this stage. I was quite underweight, and I did this intuitively. There was no following anyone. And I got into eating like up to 4 avocados a day, probably up to when I spoke to you last. I was
Mhm.
just eating that. I gained 2 dress sizes. Everything was going great. But recently, I can't digest 4 avocados. So I'm lucky if I could get 2 in. It's usually 1 a day. So I'm finding my recipes are all in a big shift at the moment because
Mhm.
I'm needing less fat through, like, when I create recipes. So I used to love like really dense dressings with fat, always avocado fat in it, because that's the only fat I have. Now I'm finding I'm using a lot more dates. What else? Maybe some carrot with it and celery to kind of thicken up the recipe base of the dressing. Whereas before it was always avocado. And I'll have a little bit with whatever I'm creating, but not so much anymore. And more into fruit at the moment. But I'm actually wondering if, I mean, it's still winter here, but you can feel a shift where we're getting like warmer days. I wonder if summer coming, you can feel that in the air, even though it's still a bit cold. If that's a reason I'm having more fruits and less of the fat. So it's definitely, I don't know what you're like, Gillian, but I'm always adapting. Like, it's my
Mhm.
body's always feedback, and I'm always, it's not craving. It's almost like you just know that you need something else like you need something for your body. And I read Dr. Moore saying that you get to a point in this diet where he's seen people come in and just smell. I guess he does scientific experiments, but just smell something like celery and their body will react.
Wow.
And that's I feel how we should be. I feel it's, I could look at my sensitivity to everything that I've suffered as a bad thing, but it's my superpower. Like it's what I can use to, create flavor recipes, be drawn to things that I feel I need.
Yeah,
So yeah,
amazing.
It's changed. I've changed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I switch things up too. I listen to my body, I switch it up. Some days I
Yes.
do higher fat, some days lower fat. Some weeks I'll feel like coconuts, some weeks I'll feel like something else. And I think it's important to switch it up and listen to your body and take it easy, not take it so serious. Just do whatever you feel like doing.
That's key. I think that's really key. I think, yeah. And especially when I think of back when I started, is to stick to raw at the start is, I don't eat nuts now, but I would have nut butter, like just eat nut butters with, a lot heavy nuts just until my body adjusted, because I think we're used to intensity of food when we used to eat cooked. There's that heaviness. And when that goes, I find the only feeling that could replace that were the fats, like as in
Yeah.
nuts. So
And you don't
yeah.
feel bored with it? You feel still happy with the lifestyle?
No, I don't feel bored with it. I feel exhilarated a lot of the time because there is a lot of flavor. And I mean, just if you even do a recipe and you halve the amount of lemon juice you use in it, I find that can shift the whole recipe. And you have to remember, when you go on this diet, you become very clear, very cleansed. So everything's heightened. So you're not tasting anything the same, is what it's all new flavors. So even though what you think celery tastes like, it doesn't. Like once
True.
it's all different. And I think also because sometimes you can eat a fruit and vegetable and that will change a lot of the time depending on how you are. Sometimes, like this week, fruit has been exciting for me, salads not so much, whereas for almost a year, salads and it your mood, your taste buds, it all kind of changes based on what you need. Go with
Yes.
that.
So true. And I feel like you really like crave what's in you. So I feel like, the more you eat the healthier foods, the more you're feeding those gut microbes and the more you're craving those
Yes.
foods and you do stop craving the other foods.
Yes. And also anything for me, it's all about a vibe, right? So this is what I feel. So if, for example, so I don't drink much water. And the reason being is you start to notice you don't get a vibe from water. Well, the water, tap water I'm talking about, I haven't moved across to any filtered or distilled yet. And even when I have filtered or distilled, I don't get a vibe. If I have fruit juice or a piece of fruit, I will become hydrated and I will feel better. And I think if I'm putting something in my body, I want to feel electric.
Yeah, 100%. Me too.
So yeah, so there's a lot of things that you've just got to listen to what works for you. And I think there's a mistake in like going through the internet trying to find your solution. Like if something resonates with you as a whole, go with it. But really, like as you said, your body's always, you've got to go with what you feel. Even if it seems crazy and you look in a book and you can't see it anywhere, if you want, 2.5 bananas and a peach, just eat it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all about everyone listening to themselves and not listening too much to
Yeah,
somebody else. So that is definitely it's such an important point.
yeah.
Well, I would love to get into the recipe. I'm so excited. Your raw vegan pizza is absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to show the viewers. So, do you want to get started on that?
I
Okay,
will.
amazing.
Welcome to my kitchen. We're going to cook the simple raw pizza, and this pizza is in my new ebook called Favorites. So first off, you're going to take some celery, which is washed, and we're going to blend it in the Vitamix. Now I have a Vitamix, but if you have a high-speed blender, I have used my mum's NutriBullet. That works as well. So we simply put it in, the celery in. And I like to do it in parts. I find that easier. So I just put a bit in, blend that. Put some more in. And I just use the tamper to mush it down. And the rest is in. Blended really well. I went and got a dehydrator tray, and that has a silicone liner on it. I got mine from Excalibur. I think it's called a Keeler, but I'll give the link to Gillian, so it'll be linked below. So it's all blended, all smooth, and I simply pour out pizza size shapes on the tray. And how this came about was simply, I discover a lot of my recipes in the way that they form on the dehydrator trays. So this kind of fell out like a flat pizza, so that's what I went with. And I find if I follow like its natural form, it usually holds in the dehydrator. Don't move it around, just keep it with its natural form. And slide it in. Then I'll get another tray that's lined and pour out another one onto there. And into the dehydrator. Now I find 14, 15 hours at 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, just note that I keep my temperatures low because I find anything that goes over 110 degrees Fahrenheit starts to get crispy edges when I do it. And I don't feel as good when crispy edges to me is cooked food. So I like to keep it very low, and that may take a while, so 14, 15 hours, but it works for me. So just rinse out this. We're going to use the Vitamix again. It's amazing. But once again, if you have a NutriBullet, any other blender, I'm sure it would work just fine. You just see what works with your blender. So first off, I'm going to put 4 tomatoes. I've chopped mine earlier, so just 4 tomatoes. 1 yellow bell pepper. This is called the raw tomato and yellow bell pepper sauce. It's also in my new ebook. So I put in 1 yellow bell pepper, all in. I put 4 medjool dates, pitted. I put 2 cloves of garlic and the juice of a lemon. And it's a really tangy sauce. It's got no other additives, so I find it great. And yeah, this kind of thing keeps me healthy. Let's rinse this. All in. Blend until it's smooth. So I think, every tomato is a different size, every vegetable is a different size. So just go with eyeball it. Now the sauce is ready. So I simply get a sauce jar, a squeezy bottle, put a funnel in it, and pour the sauce in. There we go. Side. There we have some raw tomato and yellow bell pepper sauce ready to go for our pizza, which is in the dehydrator. And I made earlier a pizza base so I could show you what a finished pizza looks like. So that's one of the pizza bases. So let's top it. So I usually put about half an avocado on top of each pizza base. And just remember that this is all raw fruit and vegetables. So making this, put on as much as you like, but also just remember that, I love pizza, and I think it's just great that you can make things that make you feel good after, not drained, not tired. It's quite incredible what raw foods has brought to my life, and it tastes so good. And you know, I've actually thought about a lot of my recipes lately, and the reason I think a lot of them taste so good is I'm working with fresh produce. So no matter what I combine, and you don't have to make it complicated, it usually ends up tasting pretty good, very fresh. So you just work with what flavors you like. But on this, I like to start with avocado. So once that's on, I like to add about a handful of fresh coriander. I love coriander. Like, I absolutely love it, whether it's in salads, on top of my pizzas. It's one of those with some of my oodles. But yeah. So once I've put enough on that, I then also love basil, another herb I put on top of this. And it's beautiful. You can use any basil you like. I think this is Thai basil, but you know, go for gold with whatever you have. As long as I think it's fresh, works great. And finally, what I love on this is leek. Just some freshly chopped leek. So that was all fresh coriander, fresh basil, and this is some freshly chopped leek. And the flavors that the leek brings, I've tried like, green onion. Didn't really taste as good, but if you like that, go for it. It does work, but there's something definitely that tastes amazing on this simple pizza with the leek. So once you've done that, that's your pizza, and we're going to do some sauce, which we pre-made. And you simply just drizzle the sauce over the top of your pizza. A little bit more. There. And that is a pizza. Let me see if I can hold it up a bit. There's my raw pizza. It's so beautiful. Have these for lunch, dinner. I like to just cut into it gently. And then once I cut in, I simply roll across and make like a little wrap from it. Healthy, tastes good. And it's even better because when you've finished a whole pizza, 2 or 3, however many you want, you will always feel good. So yeah, that's a simple pizza. And thank you, Gillian, for having me. So I can share this with you guys.
Well, this has been awesome. I'm so happy you did a recipe demo. I love it. And this pizza is so good. I really recommend you guys try it and you get out there and get Skye's book. She just is such a talent in the kitchen and such a great like raw gourmet chef. I can't recommend her enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. And is there any closing words you want to end off with? Anything about food or anything about your journey the last year? If you feel called to say anything, and if you can let everybody know where they can find you. And again, I'll link everything below as well.
Sure. Do what works for you, create it your own. So you can reach out to me on Instagram, or you can find me, you can contact me at rawskye.com on my website. But truthfully, don't look at my website and think that is what you have to do. Take inspiration from it, reach out if you have questions, talk to other raw vegans, make your own raw journey. I think that one of the greatest lessons I've learned. I feel like this health is such a gift. But to tell anybody, it's that, yeah, you do you and create. And that's part of the fun, isn't it, Gillian? Is that you get to make it your own. Like, who would think I would invent a celery pizza?
Yeah, no, I know, right?
Things. So you'll get wherever you need to go if you just follow your heart.
Love it. I love it. And I love you. You're amazing. Thanks again
I
so
love
much.
You too.
You're awesome. Well, thank you so much. And to the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you guys want to see more recipe demos, then comment down below, let me know, or let me know what you guys want to see more of. And give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you don't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.